Some good comments here. They should have a Hard4Games escape room themed event as well. Oh my goodness. You're live. You're live. Yes, we are. We're alive. We're happy to be here. Thank you so much for having us.
I think our escape room should be that you're locked in a room until you can find Earthbound 64.
Yeah, so basically you're there until you die.
Yeah, you just
Essentially.
die.
Yeah, you stay there and then you die. It's kind of a metaphor for life. But then again, with that leak that happened recently,
Yeah.
Obviously there was
We might get some stuff,
Well, there's no Earthbound stuff in there, but there was
There's rumors of more stuff coming.
Oh, yeah. There always is, and sometimes it's true. So for those of you that aren't familiar with the Giga Leak that might be watching as we wait for some people to join us here, basically a lot of source code was leaked, which includes source code from the IQ player, which is the Chinese N64 variant, for Mario 64, for Zelda 64, like tons of SNES, like prototypes and earlier versions and betas and like all sorts of stuff. And so we covered that a lot on our channel the last couple of weeks, just because there were a lot of like Zelda beta dungeons, and it kind of wiped away a lot of my expenses because I was searching for these really rare VHS tapes with little snippets of footage from these dungeons. And I don't need to do that anymore because
3 seconds of like a character model that's slightly different than retail, and you're going to pay $60 with shipping from like some random German eBay person.
Try
and now
80
it's like,
or 100 sometimes. It's wild just to be like hope that there's maybe a snippet of.
And then sometimes it just gets destroyed.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that a little bit more later regarding our other non-video game but video game adjacent media preservation. But there's rumors of a German VHS tape that has. Like footage of Earthbound 64 on it, and the footage does exist on YouTube, but it's like 12 pixels by 12 pixels. It's like someone literally tried to put a mosaic filter on it and then put it up there. That's what it looks like. It's that
That's
bad.
amazing.
So
like the ancient YouTube compression. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I've been watching your stuff since the Screw Attack days. Oh, wow, thank you so
Nice.
much. Yeah, we have fond memories of Screw Attack. So for those of us that, or for those of you that are just joining, and maybe you're not familiar with us, we're Hard4Games. I'm Tony. This
I'm
is John.
I'm TJ.
And TJ. I had my mouse over TJ's face there. Sorry about that, TJ.
No. Jeez, you gotta just like try and tickle his nose.
Ah.
Just like, I got it.
I don't know how much he likes that. So we are Hard4Games, and then we are talking about lost prototypes, the joy and sorrow of beta questing, which beta questing is something that we used to do in a more true sense, that we would basically go out and look for codes of like Zelda or Mario or whatever and look for little beta elements that might still be in there. And the term was coined way back because one of the codes for Zelda Ocarina of Time was called the Beta Quest code.
Really? Was that it?
That was it.
Okay.
So then
I assumed it was just you and Richie came up with it drunk once.
We said Beta Questin. We like took barely a spin on it.
Interesting.
So
I didn't know the deep lore.
So it was a thing, but it was like way deep onto the internet. Like these back in 2009, like I got so many Trojans just going to these sites that had these Zelda 64 codes and Beta Quest codes that it would shut down my computer for days. Get everything back up and running again. So
those ROM sites used to be so janky.
Yeah.
Then Emu Paradise rose and fell.
It wasn't even ROM sites. It was just code sites. But it was like.
They were all like Angel Fire sites.
Yeah, they were rough.
Any 3-year-old could hack.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, I was like, well, this is really cool. Like, I've always was interested in what happened with these earlier versions of Zelda and these other games.
Yeah.
And, wouldn't it be nice if we could showcase, this type of content to everybody else without them having to get a Trojan, Yeah. So we thought that might be beneficial to the community. And then it's sort of evolved from that to us actually finding de facto actual prototypes and betas of games.
Yeah, people lending them to us in some cases buying them. It's been more lending. The community has actually been really, really good about lending stuff to us, so.
Exactly. And I think, it's funny because, a lot of people will message me when something pops up on eBay and it'll be like $3,000 or whatever. And it's like, if I did this every week, I'd get a divorce after a week.
Yeah,
So.
A lot of the times if we
Like,
bought
cut me
those
off.
games, buying one of those prototypes, Hard4Games would like break even in a year. So it's like, you can't really afford to do it.
So I'm going to go ahead and throw up on screen just a little montage of some of the things.
Up on the screen?
I have had a rough day.
Good. So. Try and be more professional. That reminds me. I left my beer out of shot.
Okay. So can we get a couple comments in the chat real quick regarding TJ's amazing headphones? I was hoping that they would actually be speakers on the top, but apparently that part is just aesthetic. So.
Yeah. Aesthetic only, but it does have, microphone. They're nice.
I was hoping it would also like color change, so it'd be extremely distracting.
Mitchell, another sometime Hard4Games contributor, got them for me back in the day. So.
Yeah. AKA New John.
Yeah. Can everybody hear TJ? Go ahead and talk again, TJ.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
He was registering, but he's registering on the same mic as us for some reason.
Fascinating.
Okay, so you're going to have to talk loud. Let us know in the chat if you can't hear TJ. TJ, go ahead and say something. Yeah, he says it's a little quiet, TJ. So if you can put that a little closer to your mouth, maybe. For some reason, you're being registered on the same mic that we are, and it's
weird.
A little quieter. So maybe we'll move us back. TJ, you go forward, and we'll get that all straightened up.
Well, I'm talking to the mic that is 1 inch from my mouth.
Put it in your mouth.
Amazing. Okay.
That's good. That's actually perfect levels.
This is what people paid to see.
Yeah, exactly. So, so basically that's what we're going to be talking about today. And what I have on screen here is a montage of different things that Hard4Games has personally dumped. So sometimes we've created relationships with people that, we started dumping things for them, but then they eventually got their own equipment.
Sorry, I'm reading the chat. Somebody's like, it's no better. Oh God, he's eating the mic. That is true. You were told to.
Yeah, exactly. We could do another quick test.
May I? So I think it's actually desktop. Oh no, wait.
Hang on. Let me see here. I can do a quick adjustment, maybe.
Might be that.
Say something, TJ.
All right, I'm saying stuff.
Oh, there
He's
it
back.
is.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Is that better?
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, hopefully. Well, I mean, more sort of for the chat.
Yeah, I can see his levels are looking decent now. So
the magic of remote conventions.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, guys.
Everything's buggy, and sadly, there are no after parties. But if this was physical, I would want to go and hang out with y'all.
Yes, exactly. Anyways, so we've personally dumped a bunch of content, ranging from N64 disk drive stuff to untitled, unreleased Game Boy RPGs, Game Boy Advance RPGs, which is what you see on screen right here. We've done, recently I did a Turok 3 beta, which turned out to be nothing overly special, but still kind of cool. For some reason, Acclaim just vomited out their tall N64 carts. There's so much stuff that we come across that's from Acclaim.
Yeah.
I feel like they just threw it out a window when they were done with it.
Yeah.
I don't know why exactly.
Also, didn't they go out of business, what was that, 2006? 2008?
I'm not 100%.
And I suspect when they had a lot of this stuff still kind of in storage, they're like, screw it. And just,
probably.
Just chuck it. Just dumping it at the flea market,
Or probably maybe as they shut down, employees took various bits.
I mean, if I worked at Acclaim, I might have gotten some sticky fingers here and there. So. I'll just be honest.
But yeah, and then aside from that, we've done stuff like Tales of Symphonia. There was a debug build that was released. We've also dumped things to prove that they were fake. So, for example, there was a Wind Waker disc that was going around the internet, and people were like, "Oh wow, this is something real special." Blah blah blah, and it turns out it was just bullcrap.
Those NR discs, the actual ones that came from Nintendo to burn for early development for the GameCube. Tons and tons of blank ones made their way onto the market years ago. So there's fakes out there.
Yeah.
Thankfully, you can rip it if you have the right equipment, and then you can compare it to the original ROM. And sometimes you'll find somebody just added a piece of text here, and that's it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's all good.
So I guess if you're in the chat and you're wondering, overall, what are we going to be talking about today? We're going to be sort of talking a little bit about our journey, some of the things that we've dumped in the past, some of our experiences that are both good and maybe not so good with dealing with both games and people in the community. And we'll kind of get to that in a minute, but basically sort of like an overview of some of the things that we do and why we feel that preservation is so important, right? It feels like a lot of other mediums, history is preserved, archaeology, all of those things, but for some reason, gaming, probably because it's a newer medium, is not taken as seriously in terms of preservation efforts. So, that's kind of what we're all about, at least in that sense. We do other things on our channel, reviews and comedy stuff and whatever, but that's what the purpose of this panel is about today.
Yeah.
But before we go any further, I do want to mention that we are doing some giveaways today for anyone that's interested. So you might have seen this on our social mediums, but we have 2 replica Nintendo 64 disk drive programmer's guides. So this is super, super tech speak, by the way, but they're very neat to have. Oh my, mercy me. But yeah, so basically these are available online as like a PDF. Andrew, who's a good friend of ours, found the PDF and got them professionally reprinted. So the quality is actually pretty nice.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's nice glossy finish, as you can see here. So we're giving 2 of these away today. And the criteria is this. So we want you to take a picture of your messy, messy game room. Or if you don't have a game room, your messy bedroom will be fine. Nothing inappropriate, though. Keep it, PG-13. And send it either to our email account, which is up on screen here, hard4games@gmail.com, or you can send it to our Facebook page as a message, and then TJ will be monitoring those and putting the best ones.
Twitter DM us too.
Yeah, but I only want so many windows open, and I want to be able to share it easily with everybody.
Oh yeah.
So you have to be open to us sharing it and making fun of you that you have a horribly messy room, and if we do get anyone, hopefully we'll get one that's disgusting enough that we can give away one of these. If you are a total slob, that means you've earned your programmer's guide, essentially.
Yeah.
In my book and in this book.
Tony's original idea was that we would give away just an extra one of the big tall carts that didn't really have anything valuable in it. But then I was like, Tony, you're going to give a prototype cartridge to somebody who intentionally has a dirty room. The community will crucify you.
Actually, I didn't have any tall cartridges. These were all the prototypes I mentioned were PlayStation.
Oh,
prototypes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
but
same then. All right.
Yeah, but regardless, we opted for these. We'll probably do those giveaways another day. But we have 2 of these programmers guides. If you're interested, email us or message us. Here's the criteria, though. You have to put a little slip of paper with your username on it and mention that you message us in the chat, right? So that way we're prompted to go ahead and take a look at it. And we also know that you're not BSing us as well. We want to make sure only the most prime specimens get their programmer's guides.
And the runner-up, like the one that captures our heart but doesn't really, dirty enough. We'll have to figure out some criteria for that. You get my extra copy of Metal Gear Solid VR missions because I accidentally bought 2 of them, and it comes in this nice little
you fool.
Video game box protector thing, but it is complete and it's super clean.
Yeah. So one of the things I wanted to talk about as we continue here is kind of what, if you're new to the channel or new to the chat or just new to us in general, what kind of differentiates us from some of the other sort of preservationists that are also doing very good work, as John chats away.
Technically, it's with Dan.
Oh, that's fine.
A fellow member. He's
okay.
going, hey, if that's right by your house, do you want to come join me? Hey, I'm right by your house. Hey. And I'm like, oh crap. And I was like, I'm in a thing right now. So it's with another Hard4Games member.
I'm just giving you crap, dude. It's all good. I love you.
Son of a...
TJ's like, get back on track, you son of a bitch. So anyway, what the hell was I talking about? Okay, so what makes us different than some of the other people that are equally doing good work? But John.
I wanna break in real quick.
Sure.
So I've got Hard4Games open. Now, if they send it to the Hard4Games email, is that going to forward to my email or?
No, I'll monitor the email if you can monitor the inbox.
Yeah, sure.
So we have a bunch of people. We're also doing a...
John. I wanna break in real quick.
Sure.
You unmuted the thing.
How did that happen?
They send it to the Hard4Games Mine is email. Are you gonna forward to my email or?
No, I'll monitor the email if you can monitor the inbox.
Yeah, sure.
So we have a bunch of people. We're also doing a...
John. I wanna break in real quick.
Sure, bud. There you go.
Good Lord.
Yeah, sorry. We were getting ourselves
Boomer
feedback. Yeah, no, I wasn't even on that screen. Anyways, doesn't matter. Let's get back on track here, team.
Okay, can we get the chat visible?
Yeah.
There we go. All right.
There we are. There we go. Oh my goodness.
Here's a pro tip. All right, so you do this.
Yes.
And you just shove it
there.
Okay. And we're not distracted by double faces, and we can't accidentally click it, but we get the chat. All right.
Okay, but I do need to see our email here.
Oh, I've got the email open.
Okay, you do have the email open.
That's
Perfect.
what I was opening on my phone. I was just responding to Dan. Okay.
I try to listen to nobody unless it's my own voice, so it's...
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Okay, so TJ, keep us posted. John, keep us posted if anything pops up here. But I was going to ask you, John, what in your mind makes us a little bit different than some of the other people doing preservation work?
That's I don't watch too much of the other preservation channels, but a lot of the time I see on social media, not everybody who does preservation work also creates content like us. And, I only have so many hours in the day and I don't really follow Twitter, but a lot of the times it's like I'll see people who are just like, it's all right, I've backed it up, and then nothing comes out, nothing gets dumped, nothing's really seen, and it's just like, at that point, did anything really change?
Yeah.
But we try and release, if we can, we try and talk these collectors into it if they want to.
Yeah.
We do not strong arm them, though. We want them to release their stuff, but at the end of the day, they own it. And if they say no, nobody gets it. So
yeah. So what we generally try to do is create a good relationship with people that are these owners of these various items.
Secretive cabal.
Yes, the secretive cabal of collectors. Because some of them are a little bit nervous about releasing, and that's, understandably so. In our minds, there's kind of a couple different levels of preservation. One of which is getting it dumped and preserved, right? Another which is media, so at least people can be made aware of it and you can see visuals of it. And then, of course, another one is actually releasing it. Now, Hard4Games doesn't actually release anything. We leave it all up to the owner, as John said, but we try to give them the tools to be able to do so if they want to. And I think another thing that makes Hard4Games a little bit different from other preservationists and people doing preservation work is that I feel like we have been contacted by a lot of people that are like, they're almost like on the run.
Yeah. I can see that, yeah.
I feel like a lot of other preservation work is like, hey, here's this obscure thing that was released and let's talk about it. And we do that stuff too.
Yeah.
Right. And, people do great work about, talking about X, Y, and Z and cataloging various things. Whereas the kind of stuff that we get, for some reason, I don't know if it's because we have a horrible name, Hard4Games.
Yeah, it's not the greatest foot in the door. We thought it was a funny joke years ago, and we're just committed to it.
Now we're just stuck. We're just real stuck. It's unfortunate, but for some reason we get a lot of people who, they're great people, but they're like, I don't want anyone to know who I am.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone to know that I stole this from Nintendo.
Yeah, there's a lot of like gray area of, did the person who sold it to me steal it, or was it gifted?
Yeah.
Did they steal it? Were they gifted it? There's like a lot of weird stuff like that. And it's kind of just, well, we want to make sure it gets backed up before it just goes back, because sometimes these companies will be like, good, that's back. They chuck it in a box and they just leave it in a warehouse until it dies.
Yeah. I'm impressed you've kept it up for so long. Well, that's why we're Hard4Games. Badum! It's a horrible name.
Do you find that Japanese collectors are more reluctant to release betas than Western preservationists? I don't think we've ever had any contact with any Japanese collectors.
Yeah.
Japan is basically like another planet. They are extremely isolationist.
Yeah.
And they, as far as they're concerned, the rest of the world is some far and distant
It's just
moon.
the language. Let's not get...
Yeah, there's also a lot of...
language barrier.
There is a lot of that, but there's also just a lot of, like... I guess, kind of have, like, the American news is, like, 95% American news, kind of how we only focus on ourselves.
Yeah.
They do a little bit of that,
Yeah.
but like I've met like one Japanese gamer in my entire time on the internet.
Yeah, I think, well, TJ, you can probably speak a little bit more because you lived in Japan for a while. But I mean, my understanding, at least before a lot of sellers in Japan realized that these older games would make them big bucks overseas, was that a lot of them didn't really care about retro gaming that much. Although I could be wrong on that.
I also imagine with the language barrier, dealing with some people through eBay has got to be annoying as heck. I know that there are a lot of eBay sellers on Yahoo Japan who don't like doing the various proxy buying services just because they don't want that extra headache. And you know what? I can't blame them. Our languages are about as far apart as you can possibly get. And it's just somebody who's like, dude, I just want to get this stuff out of my house. And I'd like to get a couple of yen for it. And like, some crazy person from another country is going to demand like next day airmail and be like, it had a scratch. And you're like, yeah, well, it's had a scratch for 20 years and that was in all the pictures. Like, no, I want my money back. You know? And I can't blame them for not wanting to do that.
I think you very much stereotyped the Japanese and Westerners.
Here's a question.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead,
like,
TJ.
okay, so the discussion is like, why haven't they found us? Why haven't they like looked, and contacted us about all these things or whatever? But have we looked at the Japanese beta community? Like maybe there is like a rich beta community and we just can't penetrate it because of all the moon runes and kanji and the like.
We need to find like
It's possible, yeah.
We need to get some fluent, was it Hikiko Moris on our side and get them as moles in there.
Yeah.
So if anybody knows any fluent shut-ins, please hit us up.
Now, and again, I don't, TJ, you might be able to answer this again because you're much more familiar than I am. But
coughing.
Oh, it's because I have GERD. I have acid reflux, and I keep drinking coffee because my children don't sleep.
This cover story.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, anyways, what I was saying before we disconnected was that there's a strong nostalgia culture with our age group and in the United States, and I don't know if that exists in Japan. And I don't know if it does exist, if finding betas and prototypes and those sort of things are
sure
that
exists,
important.
but not to the same scale.
Yeah. So to answer your question, I don't really know. There's another question that was above here that said, what username do I use? Use whatever username appears in the chat, and then put that on a slip of paper.
That one?
No, that one.
What? Okay. So this one up top is our name on Facebook, and that's our email you can send it to.
Yeah.
I've already been checking a few of them, and I just wanted to let, Jeremy know that is a fantastic dungeon, and Jesse, my desk looks almost exactly the same.
By the way, we've got a submission for Messy Game Rooms. Should we pull it up?
Yeah.
All right.
Up.
Dylan Rhodes sent in the first submission.
Okay.
So he's on his way for winning. We're gonna square. Yeah, there we go.
You said it was Dylan Rhodes?
Yeah, Dylan Rhodes. All right, this is the first one. We've got a nice, very large cathode ray. If it doesn't shoot electron beams.
You got to share your screen, TJ.
Oops, I thought I had. Okay, there we go.
There we go.
Oh, there it is.
All right, so we got this very,
nice
very nice
CRT.
cathode ray. It's very big. It's going to make sure that all of that,
It's an absolute unit.
all those 16 and 32-bit graphics are going to display just as they were intended.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
It's not that messy. There's a lot of
clutter.
There's some clutter on the ground. The walls are good,
but how do you play? Do you really want to disassemble? So if you want
you have to suspend yourself from the ceiling.
there is a bag. The bag could probably be disposed of. We got a Yoshi. Other than that, look at how nicely the controllers are arranged.
Yeah.
It's a good setup.
Oh
In fact, I think he's faking. I think he just threw that bag there to say, like, oh, look, it's messy.
Wait, no, hang on.
I don't know.
This submission doesn't count because I don't see a username. It has to have he has a PCFX. Has to have a username on camera. We need to know it's actually you.
I think you forgot to say that clear enough is the issue.
I said that multiple times that you need to
You
make sure that you put your username.
Boomer Tony doesn't know how to move the window.
So if you'd like to, go ahead and you don't have to resubmit all those images, but do take a picture, send it with the same username that you submitted to Facebook with your username on it. So we know you're not
an old school here.
He's got a Dreamcast.
We can
got a
see
Saturn.
that he really is following us because we're up on the screen there. The rest of the room, nice and organized, but that's a triumphant destiny there. Just a lot of clutter. Not a single square inch. Literally 2 laptops stacked on top of each other, on top of a keyboard, some sort of shoebox thing, several cups full of items.
Yeah, you gotta share. This should be shared. This is not the ideal way to review this.
Now this one will need evidence, but
This is not on the screen. You gotta get this on the screen. You're
that's on
aiming
our,
the camera.
We have 2 cameras here, TJ.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I bungled the mic there for a second, but we should be loud and clear now.
Yeah, I don't know why you're touching those. You gotta. I mean, there's only so much we can do, but Jeremy's got a dungeon that's got some nice bins and stuff. But I will say there seems to be a nice a grid to it. You have to move it back slightly for. Oh, there it is.
There you go.
Nice focus.
Christopher Frank is requesting that we turn up the voices. By the way,
I did. Yeah,
okay.
I bumped it.
Yeah,
right.
the chat's like about 20-30 seconds behind.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, we're
as is tradition.
Having some technical difficulties today. Normally I don't stream with like 30 things simultaneously happening, but it's all good.
Matt Hayes, you are going to have to somehow verify this is actually your dingy basement, though. But that is. I also like the horror lighting. Like this is definitely where someone would get killed in a horror film. That is fabulous.
When you aim this at the camera, who's seeing it? Because it's not on the stream camera either.
Yeah.
Is it?
Oh, it is. So the one that's right here is the one you see, TJ, and the one that's up here is the one the actual stream sees.
Yeah, there's 2 cameras here.
Yeah.
For some reason, my video in the streaming is frozen.
The stream does have a 15-second delay, but it's
like completely frozen. It's not even playing at all.
I did notice that as well on my end.
Yeah, it's probably just a weird OBS screw up.
Fair enough.
Everyone's saying we can see it in the chat.
Okay, that's good.
And then Jeremy said you're not allowed to see it. The stream does have a 15-second delay, but it's there we go. So TJ, I'm sorry, but you're just not. You just can't. I'm sorry. That's just. I love that. I love that people are sending these in. So for anyone that was curious,
Christopher Rumor.
Wow, we're getting a lot of these. This is great.
Submission. Oh, look at that. He's got us on the screen, and oh man, cable management's supposed to go behind.
Oh no!
Is that an IKEA Kallax? That's fabulous, fabulous. I use the same, but look at all those. Just that avalanche of cables coming out of there.
You guys.
It's like
Can we actually just open the email on another window and then screen share that?
We'd have to create a whole new file, and we're kind of short on time. We'd have to create a whole new object window in OBS, and OBS is already being testy right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're getting quite a bit of these.
Oh, but you do have 2 wave birds. Nice.
I'll show the wave birds.
Yeah, look at that. With the adapter there. So, ooh, very nice. Ooh.
So before we run out of time here, I do want to talk about a couple of experiences with prototype collecting and preservation. John's still on the phone being like, This reminds me of our back in the day shooting when John has always, especially like during shooting, will always just like, especially back in the day when we do long stints. And
some
like
of our episodes used to be like 5-6 hour shoots.
And like there'd be so much stuff of just John just staring at his phone that he just could not focus on what we're doing. But it's just I have like PTSD when John picks up his phone, even though I know you're pulling up photos that we need to see.
Yeah.
I'm like, do I have to edit around this? Oh no, I don't. Because it's live.
Let me double check that none went into spam.
Okay. But I want to talk about, because the show or the stream is called The Joy and Sorrow of Beta Questing. And there's been a lot of, things that we preserved or people that we know have preserved that we've shown off. So, for example, Epic Mickey 2 here, The Power of 2, had like 5 or 6 beta builds, and we were able to showcase them, and it was great. And most experiences have been pretty fantastic. But there are also experiences that have been maybe less so, I guess, because I would kind of subdivide the community into 2 different factions, I guess. One would be like sort of community facing, where they're interested and basically want to get these things out there and like want to showcase. And even if they want to be anonymous, how deep is your spam folder?
Oh, I was just
reading. He's just looking at porn at this point in time. He's just like perusing. He's like,
this one needs like a dramatic reading. It's like, hello, I am a professional coder and I hacked your device's OS when you visited adult website.
You're not supposed to open the spam emails, John. You're going to get a virus.
Oh, shit. But anyway, sorry, that one, it's so dramatically written. It's very gripping.
What planet are you on right now?
I need $1,000 to my Bitcoin address. Oh man, he's going to destroy
John,
our life.
You don't open emails from the spam folder, especially in our company account. Don't do that.
Just reading the text portion.
Stop. Delete all of them and then clear your phone out.
Hold on, I'm giving him my social security number. I'm saving us.
Oh my God. I miss having you over because of the virus.
Yeah.
But that said, I think I was talking about 2 different types of collectors. There's sort of community facing, and then there's the hoarders.
Yeah. So the community facing would be more like Andrew, who we do a lot of work with. Like, obviously, he doesn't want people knowing too much about his life, and I can't blame him for, we all want a certain amount of privacy, and he doesn't want people just going like, oh, I can just break into that guy's house, get some sweet shit, all right. And I think a lot of collectors have that same opinion, where they don't want people to know that they have so many games, and that they're, not easily traceable and easily stealable. But then the hoarders.
Yes. There are people that, I swear to you, get off on having a bunch of very collectible things, which we have a bunch of very collectible things. Yeah. So, yes, but that's only half of it. The other half is keeping those things.
Yeah.
Hiding those things. And, keeping it in a little box that no one else can see. And these people get a certain level of, catharsis when they go every day when they wake up and they're like, no one knows that I have Earthbound 64 in my basement rotting away. And this feeds me. So I want to tell a little story here. Pardon me, Sir John. I'm just going to play an Atari Jaguar VHS that I captured and preserved in the background here. I'm going to make sure that this is not blowing out your ears, though. So anyways, there was a gentleman who I won't name who was doing a big sale with his prototypes. And everything that was worthwhile he had already preserved And well, he preserved everything, but everything that was worthwhile he had already pushed out into the world and did a big release for and whatever. You know, if it was like Dora the Explorer's 30th game on GBA, he didn't do a release because you don't care and I don't care. Right. So anyways, he was doing this big release or sell, his big sale, and it was like an $18,000 sale. Big sale. So of course, he's the seller and the buyer is a little bit tentative, you know, because it's like I'm spending $18,000 on this, you know, I want to make sure that he's legitimate. So he utilized me as a reference. And he's like, I know that you don't normally like give out your phone number and this and that, but would you mind calling this guy? You know, he knows you're going to call him. And just talk to him, let him know that I'm a legitimate person, tell him about your previous dealings with me, like everything's been on time, everything's been paid for, etc. You know, just so he knows that I'm on the up and up and I'm not going to scam him out of 18 grand,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
And what they ultimately ended up doing was breaking it into like 4 or 5 different shipments with 4 or 5 different payments, which makes sense. It's a little bit safer to kind of divide up your eggs in multiple baskets. So anyways, down again, or is it me? Wow, click refresh and it'll come up. That's why you don't open attachments in the spam folder, John.
Doing it on a phone. Doing it on a phone.
Anyways.
Now, Richard Lewis was asking, what's the legality of dumping/releasing something that wasn't intended for release in the public?
We'll get to that. That's a good question. I'll get to that in a second after this story here.
Okay.
But thank you for bringing that up because I would have missed it because I'm up in my rage moment here.
Getting heated.
So anyways, I'm talking to this guy and I don't want to blow the deal, okay? I don't want to blow it because, you know, this guy who's the seller is my friend. He's a good guy. You know, like this stuff has been out into the ether already, whatever. And so this guy is telling me about how he has all this stuff. And now keep in mind, if you're dropping like 18 grand on a random bundle of games and hardware, you probably have way more, you know, and you have plenty of money to throw around. And so this guy just has probably a house full of games that you and I will never see and have never heard of. And like, he just was telling me about how amazing it is and how, I think it was...
he was using a service to dump, and they were like, they're very discreet. They'll never release it to anyone. It's great because no one will ever know it ever existed. And it's like, okay, well, I mean, like, that's nice for you. And he's like, you should plug this on your channel. And I'm like, yeah, no thanks.
And it's like, we want to work with the owner to release it if they want to, and we want to be community facing. I mean, we respect people's wishes, but like his whole point was, you know, this is so amazing because I'll be able to keep this forever. And I don't need anyone else because this company like dumped them for me and now they have a copy and they'll never release it. And then I have a copy and no one will get it. And you should put it on your show. And I'm like, fuck no, man. Like, I didn't say that because I didn't want to blow the deal, but I was like, okay.
Yeah, that sounds great.
I'll look into it. Like asshole. Like, like no. Like what the hell, man? So it was. There are definitely people out there that are. You know, there are people that are scared to release stuff because maybe they got it from a place that they worked and they shouldn't have taken it. And then there's people that are just dicks. Like, yeah. I mean, right? I mean,
it kind of reminds me of that like Atari arcade game that leaked a while back, where there's only like 3 copies of it, and all the owners were like furious that everybody can play it now, and it's like, well, it was just going to die otherwise, and it's actually a pretty fun little game, and it was kind of a shame that it never got a release.
Yeah.
But like they were furious and up in arms, but there was a conspiracy theory that one of them was like, that's it, I'm just going to release this, and I'm just going to join in and be like, oh yeah, how dare they? Because it takes so much to dump that sort of old machine.
Yeah, in terms of the legality, like it's someone's, I mean, TJ, you can probably weigh in on this quite a bit, but like it's not your IP.
Yeah.
Right? So like it's your
you own the cartridge, you don't own the software.
Yeah, exactly. So like releasing it is, you know, it's super gray because it's like, will the company care? Probably not, because it's like a 20-year-old piece of software. But it's not your intellectual property. Which is why Hard4Games doesn't release anything.
Yeah.
Like dumping and preserving it for the owner, like generally, from my understanding, is you can make a copy of something that you own.
I think that's part of the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, is that you can, if you have a DVD, you could rip it for your own use. But if you share that, then that's where you're breaking the law, to my understanding of it.
Now, there's also sort of like this whole thing where, out of the legal realm, where it's like, okay, this is like a 20, 30-year-old game that will never see the light of day and no one will ever see it ever again unless so there's sort of like a community charity obligation that you have.
Atlas
but like
RPG that you got, where like nobody knows what it's supposed to be called.
Yeah.
It just appeared out of nowhere and it was fully formed.
It was not fully formed.
Closer than most of the stuff we get.
I mean,
It wasn't beta, but it was.
It was alpha for sure.
It was more fully formed than like some of those earlier Star Fox leaks.
Yeah.
You know.
Virtua Racing.
Yeah. Oh, they were joking about the racing game for the Jaguar.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Probably checkered flag. Yeah. So I mean, that's why ROM sites get shut down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they're also sharing like thousands of ROMs.
Yeah, absurd amounts. And usually it's like, Nintendo's like, listen, we spend a lot of money protecting Mario. You can't take Mario. Like, I doubt, like, whoever owns LJN now is like, oh, man, you guys just shared True Lies for Super Nintendo, you bastards. Like, I doubt they really care. But for some of those companies, it's very important to defend their brand.
Yeah. Sorry, let's switch over here. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it is. It's definitely one of the reasons why I have in my notes here. Do we release ROMs? Parentheses, and why not? So, so it's kind of like, we don't personally do that. We want to be kind of a service to do the first two steps of preservation, which are actually preserving the data, showcasing it. Yes. So you can actually see what it is, because if no footage existed before, then it needs to be done. And
we
then
also do give the person the option of, like, if they want to pay to have it sent to us and just have us dump it, we can do that. We would prefer to do a video on it, but sometimes they would prefer we not. There have been a few cases.
In special cases.
And to be honest, most of the times that's been the case. It's been something that doesn't even make a good video anyways.
It would be like 10 seconds.
Yeah, it'd be like, here's a piece of scratch paper. All right, good night.
Yeah, pretty much.
But we dump it, we give it to them, and then it's kind of, all right, it's in your hands now. Do the right thing.
Yeah. That's kind of been our philosophy. So how people basically get in contact with us, say, are you interested in making a copy for me? And I'll say, yep. If it's something that we're interested in, and we'll just kind of go from there and work with the individual. And we try to keep a good relationship with everyone that we worked with. And especially when we have the item in question, we try to be as communicative as humanly possible.
Yeah.
A couple things, though, because I know we're running a little bit on time. We only have about like 15 minutes here. I do want to showcase a couple of things that we have upcoming that you guys might be interested in. John, you want to talk about...
So these boys have played this.
It's an obscure title.
It was an obscure title. I don't want to immediately show it off. It was a series of falconry simulators you might know as Tony Hawk. So this one is, I believe, Tony Hawk 2 Alpha from April 20th, 01. We have Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Looks like this is... just has 12, but it does have somewhere on there June 4th, 01 crossed out. And I have to double check. I think that might actually be his autograph on the back. I have to double check.
Oh.
That may already be signed.
Okay.
And this one says, return to Molly Hinchy, X2601.
That's her extension.
So she must be a robot.
That's probably her extension, her phone extension. But Activision is defunct now.
Yeah, so they ain't doing...
Remember how I mentioned earlier in the stream?
No, Activision isn't defunct.
Oh, they aren't?
Activision Blizzard is a gigantic...
Oh, yeah. Well, they were...
Acclaim. Yeah.
Well, then you shouldn't have wrote her extension.
Well, I mean, it's an extension from like 19 years ago.
That's true.
I suspect they've redone their phone system in that time.
Possible.
And Molly, however this came to be in our hands, thank you.
Indeed.
Whether it be through forgetfulness or whatever, but I have to double check if that's really his signature. Might already be signed.
Yeah. So... in the near future, we will be doing some Tony Hawkins professional skater betas.
He was also that guy with the robot voice, did all the black hole research, right? Tony Hawksman?
Oh, yes.
Tony Hawking.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right,
Yes.
so just a quick search says that that is not his signature.
Well, ask the man himself.
He will ask the man himself. We will get to the bottom of it.
He actually has had two slightly different signatures because he broke his wrist at one point, and it screwed up his signature.
Yeah. Everybody know that. So.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways.
Oh, yeah, that's the real stylized one you get these days. Yeah. Yeah, I've got a poster with like an earlier version of that on there.
So, that's one thing that we have going on. Another thing that I wanted to showcase real quick is that we're getting into laser discs. So,
That is a sexy cover right there.
the deep rabbit's hole that is laser disc technology. So this one is...
You want me to... I'll hold that one.
Sure, thank you. This one is from the Nintendo Power Previews kiosk. What they did was, instead of having a computer where you could do a touch screen and select a trailer to pop up, what you'd have is basically an SNES running with a special cartridge in it. You'd press a button, and then it would go to a chapter on a laser disc.
Yeah.
And so basically this is chock full of...
This says on it, Nintendo Power Preview Volume 7, part number 27135, use only with cartridge number 3.0. That's all on a little sticker just down there.
Yep.
Neato.
I'm going to turn up the volume just because the announcer on this, we won't be able to hear it, John, but the announcer is pretty spectacular.
With skill and luck, Samus will prevail.
Let me know if you guys can hear
But
it.
not this time.
It gets wacky.
Now
I miss covers like this on VHSs and stuff, and I've never
Stack
actually seen it
Yoshi's
for a
friends
laser
up
disc
too
before.
high
Yeah,
and watch
pretty
the
cool.
points build
Amazing
up.
to see that
Make an
one.
egg and capture all the
Thank
critters
you,
in
3M
between.
Corporation.
The
Are
more
we going to be
Yoshis
looking
you
at
get,
that other one?
the
I'm going to
faster
turn the
game
kiosk
goes.
one volume down just a little bit because there's voice. So this is actually a double-sided... Let me make this guy a little smaller here.
Yeah, it would be very appreciated.
There's so many windows in OBS. There we go. So this is actually Sega produced a number of laser discs, or had a number of laser discs
Got a
produced.
mega CD on there.
So
Nice.
this is actually a double-sided laser disc, and it has either gameplay or trailers from a variety of different titles.
Very nice. 92 to 93.
They also have laser discs for a lot of their arcade attract/demo modes. So, for example, it could be Afterburner, or it could be Space Harrier, where it's just sort of going through the music and the different crashes and animations and stuff, and it shows them in the different chapters. So,
I love the company name that is credited on the back of this. Battery Light and Shadows Incorporated.
Battery Light and Shadows Inc.
That sounds like a vaporwave band.
It is a vaporwave band.
There's almost no English on the back except for G-Lock TMNT Chelnov Gods Side That sounds like a vaporwave band.
Oh, don't get upset, John. He can hear
There's
his voice.
almost no
He's losing
English
it. He's
on the
losing
back,
it.
except
He's
for-
losing it.
There you go.
Okay, here we go.
But I gotta say, I love all the fantastic... There's one picture on the back that absolutely looks like an amazing screen grab there.
Oh yeah, they did not ask to get my where is my finger? My likeness for this photo, so I'm a little upset.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
That's the camera checking face.
Yeah, that's my
I
camera
recognize.
checking face.
Yeah, if you guys ever see him do like the... In that...
Like protrude my chin.
That was how I knew I was doing a bad take back in the day, because I'd be like deep into like I thought I was hitting it just right, and I'd turn and tell you like
And be like, oh God,
that,
John.
and I'd be like, ah, shit.
Oh John, Lord, why God?
You were like, well, this take's gone that far off the rails. What does it matter? Ooh, is there an insert in here? Oh.
Steady.
Machine review.
I wonder if this was also part of some sort of a...
Table of contents.
Oh,
and
there's
description for
lunar
chapters.
content in this as well.
Ooh.
Sweet. Love me some lunar, or lunar, however you want to pronounce it. So yeah, I guess we should be wrapping up here in a minute, guys. But I wanted to showcase some of the things that we had up and coming. You know, a lot of the preservation work that we do is not only video games proper, but also a lot of like lost media. Like, how many of you knew that this existed? And how many of you knew that this is probably just composite captured video game footage thrown on a Laserdisc? So it's nothing special. But at the same time, it kind of is.
Video. That's what it says on the cover.
It says
Mega Drive Perfect Video. Perfect.
Is this what it says?
Yeah. Mega Drive Perfect Video.
Well, then it's perfect.
And it says for game professional use. So you jackasses can't use it. Only us.
That's right.
Because we're technically professionals in this.
We're the
Although
least...
that really drags down the word professional.
The least professionals there are. Mostly because I messed up some of the audio. We lost our internet connection. You opened spam emails on our company email account.
Well, I kept clicking the links that he was giving, and I think our YouTube account is belonged by somebody else now.
I'm losing my mind. So we're not going to announce the winners of our contest just yet. We're gonna wait and kind of talk amongst ourselves. But again, if you haven't had the opportunity and you want to send us a picture of your messy game room or your messy bedroom for prize 1, prize 2, or the runner-up, please do so to our Facebook account or our email. Our Facebook is just Hard4Games, and I think there's like one other Hard4Games. It's like an Italian store that was like stole our name and lasted like 2 years and then never posted again. And then there's of course our email, which is on screen.
I call it stole our name. I think we were so small back then they didn't know. But yeah, they didn't last long.
I mean, what kind of idiots would choose Hard4Games as a name?
Us?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Who else would be that dumb?
Apparently, maybe one other group of weirdos. I kind of wish I could meet them. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'd be like, what have you done?
The Hard4Games meet each other.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm hoping we have some neat stuff for that Tony Hawk episode. Oh, and we're gonna do a little quick mini episode after Tony and Retro Alley talk about weird bootleg GBA games I've found that are only worth like $1. It's really weird. I've found that are only worth like a...
Why does that keep popping up?
I think it's just auto refreshing itself.
Oh, and then it keeps putting on. It keeps. So we have the screen up,
so we can see the chat, and it just keeps occasionally refreshing the video, and
audio keeps popping back up, and it's driving us a little bit crazy. But just real quick before we go, I want you to be able to enjoy a little bit more of the Nintendo Power previews.
Are we going to announce a winner for the messy rooms?
No, I think because there's so many of them, we should have a little chat. Not immediately after this, because I got to prep for the next panel, but later today or tomorrow, and then we'll send the winners an email.
All right, sounds good.
Street Fighter 2, the new challengers for the Super NES. 32 megs of super power with new arenas.
We're doing all of this. Wow. Oh, it was Retro Alley. Oh, thanks.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I waved, but you can't see me. You can only see.
So.
Tiny Mouse Man.
So, guys, if we still exist after all these spam emails that have been open, which I hope we do, then you're not about to open another one, are you? I wonder now what he does at home, where he's just like...
cracking open a spam can with the boys.
But if you are new to us, or you enjoyed what you saw, or our crazy ramblings... We're primarily a YouTube show, so check us out on YouTube, Hard4Games. Today we did a video on the unreleased Panasonic Jungle handheld, which was announced in 2010 and promptly canceled in 2011. It's supposed to be an online-only, not online-only, but primarily online-focused handheld by Panasonic.
Pokemon collection right there, Oakley.
But yeah, so join us on YouTube. Thank you so much to UPLINK for inviting us. We're very much more used to getting rejections from conventions than we are invitations. So that was nice. Crickets.
Sorry, there's a
I was hoping to get like a reaction out of somebody.
There's a video
for like
for
a
this
little
one.
Little something,
Damn. Oh, and he's got us in it?
Well, show the peoples. Show the peoples.
Okay, so we got... And there was verification at the start.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to show it.
There's just a utility knife.
Oh, this is
cable
going
management.
places. Oh, yeah.
Oh, goodness gracious. There's a
nice dog.
Kippy, is that a kippy cat or a dog?
I think that was a dog. I'm liking it. I'm liking it, and I'm slowly trying to correct my hand, but it's all reversed.
I love it. You guys
so.
are a bunch of really messy Fs.
Yeah, I like it. I love it. It's amazing, outstanding.
Yeah. Well, guys, I think that's going to be it.
Whoa,
cables.
I see some dust in there.
This one might be a contender.
Yeah, this is a genuine contender.
I'd like to see a game room with so much dust that it might catch fire.
Dust is actually not terribly flammable.
But doesn't like static charges cause? No, I'm thinking about shorts. I'm thinking about electronic shorts, not fires.
Is this like the shorts techno artists wear?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
thinking about that. Hey, can we get another comment in the chat regarding TJ's amazing headphones? I love these.
Also, before we leave, any quick questions at the end?
We'll do one or two more quick questions, and then we gotta run because I gotta prep for the next meeting because I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't know what I'm doing.
Walking over there and then waiting until afterwards.
Yeah. So, by the way, anyone here would love to have you join myself and Retro Alley's panel. We're talking about specifically the preservation of the Pokemon Center New York distribution machine. I'm not going to say too much about it right here, but there's a lot of content there. Hopefully, Allie will keep me somewhat level because I was a little bit all over the place on this one.
It's a fire hazard you didn't have to say.
All right, guys, we're going to sign off. Again, thank you to UPLINK for hosting us. We really appreciate it. And see you all later, guys. And TJ and John, thank you for joining me. It's nice to actually work with people again since COVID.
Slowly fading off of the screen.
I'll see you in hell. All right, see you guys.